Hey, it's Ice Age TV. I'm looking a little goofy here today with my hat crooked on my glasses there. That does look pretty funny, doesn't it, huh? Yeah, I think it looks funny no matter what I adjust there, right? But hey, what is happening today on the Ice Age TV YouTube channel? You know, I've kind of been out for a while. I mean, nothing exciting, adventurous to post lately. So, if you follow my videos, you probably thought, wow, he went quiet for a while, which, yep, I did go quiet for a while. And the reason I'm back today is I am finally getting my Bronco. Yes, my Ford Bronco that I ordered in July of 2020. July of 2020, I actually ordered 2 Broncos. And it's kind of interesting that I ordered one as a 2-door and one as a 4-door. And I ordered them from 2 different dealerships. And ironically enough, the 2-door, which is actually 2021 production, and my 4-door was actually pushed to a 2022 production. The 2-door has been built now since December, and it's excuse the cough there. It's never come in. And if you're a Ford Bronco follower, you'll know that conversation all day. There are so many Ford Bronco orders that have been pushed out, and then they get built, and then they get shipped, and then they sit in a rail yard or a car depot or wherever it sits. You know, some people 2 months later before they get their vehicle. So it's been very, very challenging for the Bronco fans, the Bronco orders. And for me, I've been, patient. I was like, yeah, with the pandemic going on and everything else, I knew it'd take a while to get it. And so anyways, so the yellow, the cyber orange one that I ordered actually was supposed to come in actually last week. And it got delayed and pushed to this week. Then it got delayed again. It's been pushed again until next week. And that's the 2-door. And meanwhile, the 4-door actually didn't get built until the 13th of January. And that one was showing a 27th of January delivery. But even at that, I thought, nah, that thing's going to be probably February. And, it's not a big deal. In all reality, if I got to wait another month for my Bronco, that's fine. But at the same time, it's exciting times because unbeknownst to me, my 4-door Bronco showed up a week early. And what's really crazy is just yesterday I called my dealer that I ordered this from and just kind of said, hey, maybe we should start getting things lined up with the paperwork. Maybe it's premature. I don't know. And so I kind of thought, let's just go ahead and we'll do that. And then this morning, my sales guy calls me and says, hey, we got everything in order for you to get the vehicle, and when are you going to come get it? And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, your vehicle's sitting here. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, when did this come in? He's like, it came in last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I was not expecting this vehicle to come in. And what's really crazy on this order is originally I ordered the Cactus Gray, and I actually changed that color this past October of last year to the Red Hot Chili Pepper, and which I'm really glad I did do that, even though the Cactus Gray is really nice. But I just said, you know what? I'd like to have a nice red Bronco. I just felt like I like that Red Hot Chili Pepper look. And with me changing that color, I really felt like, oh great, that'll probably screw things up and it'll probably push it out till next spring, which I was the same thing. Well, whatever. If that's what happens, that's what happens. And I held out for the hard top. So if I wanted the soft top, if you're following the Bronco builds and you're really, abreast of all this conversation, you would know that if you get the soft top, I would actually get these vehicles late last year. Now, there's a lot of things going on, and I'm a member of the Bronco 6G forum, and I've got the Wildtrak package for my Bronco, which that automatically puts you in the V6 2.7 motor. and I'm sitting here at a stop sign trying to get across the road. So what's really interesting is, I ordered my Wildtrak, which that's the highest edition you can get besides going to the Raptor Bronco, which, I'm not fixated on that at this point because, wait another year for that one. And how much are you going to pay? So the V6 2.7 motor, here in the Bronco 6G forum, we're seeing engine failures on these vehicles, and we actually have a whole dedicated thread to, at this time, 28 Bronco forum members. And you got to think about this. How many people that buy a Ford Bronco join up and are a member of the 6G, the Bronco 6G forum? I can't imagine that it's 100% of the, purchasers. Is it 20%, 30%, 50%? I really don't know. I do know there's like 21,000, I believe, subscribers and forum members to this forum community. But as to this date, there's now 28 people that have had total engine failures, where, the engine literally has dropped a valve, it looks like, and destroyed the number 5 cylinder, and it seems like this is a consistent problem. So, if you're probably listening to my video going right now, it's like, wait a second, you're telling me that you're hearing about all these engine failures and you're now posting a video about going and picking up your Bronco? What is there any warning signals here for you? Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, am I crazy? Yeah, it's possible. And if you're in this forum and you're following this thread, we kind of thought we had a build engine date on these engines of running through a cycle of maybe contaminated parts. My theory is you've got a supplier that had bad valves. I think it's a bad valve that's, deteriorating and dropping down the engine and destroying it. And but I don't know. I'm not the expert on that. But at the same time, we kind of thought we had a build date on these engine failures of this past possible May, June, July, run of issues into August. And we kind of all felt like, okay, this is definitely a parts contamination in those 3 to 4 months, and Ford behind the scenes figured it out and did something. Well, here yesterday, we just had another engine failure, and this is now a build date in November. Yikes, I believe. Maybe October, so don't, take everything that I'm saying for exact information, but I'm pretty sure it was an October build if I kind of step back here for a second. And so now the concern is everybody's hitting their vehicles that got them built in October, they may be in this, issue as well. And for me, my Bronco I'm picking up, it's a January 13th build. The engine build, I don't know. Was engine built in January? Was engine built in December? I don't know. I'll know when I go by there today and pick it up and I look at the serial number on the engine build. But, once again, I've actually reached out in the forum and I've talked about, hey, do I maybe just put a stop purchase on this vehicle? And I've even reached out to some of my really good friends at the Ford dealerships. And, what you kind of get back from each one of them is, and understandably, is, hey, Ford is going to stand behind the product, and should this unfortunately happen, they're going to give you a new motor. But now something that's interesting is I've had mixed feelings on my Bronco, being that I've driven the Bronco, and when I drive these different vehicles, and I have so many vehicles around me, and I've owned so many vehicles, each one seems to have its own kind of personality. And that's what kind of really drives me to the uniqueness, to liking my vehicles, is, it's different from another vehicle. And then some vehicles don't really radiate that as much, and they're just kind of mundane. Now, I do have, some concerns on the Bronco. It doesn't really have its own unique personality that kind of separates it from my other vehicles. And I have test driven I believe maybe it was a Wildtrak back last summer or last September, and didn't drive it a lot, kind of mixed feelings. And then I drove a real kind of base model, just nothing exciting there for me. So today is really going to kind of be more about me really driving this, and when I get behind the wheel of this vehicle, do I really have kind of like that wow factor? Do I get that out of this vehicle? And I can think about my Toyota 4Runner. It has very unique personality to the way that vehicle drives, the engine, just the way it feels. My Ford Raptor trucks, man, those things just radiate fun and, the wow factor. My GT500, that vehicle just radiates the wow factor and just blast. And I can just go through a list of vehicles that I've owned where you just really are taken back and you just are smiling on, how much fun you're having driving that vehicle. Even the point right now, I'm driving my Ford ST today, even though I just had to put a brand new transmission in it. It ate up a transmission at 13,000 miles. And I just really do like the Ford Explorer ST product. It's just it's a really fun vehicle, even though a lot of journalists, I've not really given this thing the greatest of remarks when you put it up against other SUVs. So, follow along today as I talk more about my new Bronco, and I'll share you my true feelings. And, and I know what happens too. You start telling the truth. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. So let's hopefully hope that my truths are exciting and not like, oh, geez, is this thing really overhyped? Is it, really what we really want it to be? And is it a really cool vehicle? So watch me as I continue the day. I've done a lot of talking, and, this Ford ST, it's such a comfortable vehicle. I've got my heated seat. I've got my motion. This thing has that massage seats, has adaptive cruise. I've got it in the sport mode. This thing just hauls tail, and it still does respectable on fuel mileage. So, going back to the fun factor, this ST gives me a lot of fun. Look, even the dogs are excited. Yeah, we get the Bronco, right? Bronco time. Ford Bronco time? Yeah, yeehaw! Right. All right, got the 4Runner set up to go get the Bronco. Let the kid drive the 4Runner. And how about this? How about hot dogs? The good old American way. Hot dogs and potato chips for lunch, huh? Got a busy day, got to keep on moving. So, how about that idea, right? Yeah. All right. It is a cold day up here, 36 degrees. Now tomorrow is teens up in this Northern Virginia area. So anybody that lives up in the Northeast, like, that ain't no big deal. It's on my 4-wheel drive, because last time I drove this, I had it in 4-wheel drive. Now, got to do the manual shift, right? I think those days are over on Drive a Bronco, right? Got to do the electronic shift. All right. All right, so let's talk more about the Ford Bronco, right? Isn't that the theme today? Today's theme is Ford Bronco. You hear me cough, right? Yeah, well, that time of the year where we seem to get colds and get coughs, right? Yeah, so anyways, I think to myself, who is the Ford Bronco purchaser, however you want to clarify that. And I think to myself, I'm riding down the road in my Toyota 4Runner, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm in that category of wanting a Bronco. I'm the SUV, 4-wheel drive adventure guy, right? Driving down the paved roads, right? Probably 2/3, if not half, of the vehicles, at least, just like the Ford Bronco, who's going to really take them off-road and use them to their extreme. Some will, for sure. I think most won't, but whatever. Just like buying a Corvette Z06. Who takes that to the racetrack? Or a GT500, the list goes on and on and on. It's all about what just makes us happy. It's kind of the end result when you buy a car. Just that's how we operate. But anyways, so I think to myself, the Jeep crowd, right? So I've had a lot of Jeeps. I've had some really nice Jeeps. The last Jeep I had was a Jeep Gladiator, and that was a really nice vehicle. I mean, even though they have their issues like every other car does, and the biggest thing that always stuck out in the Jeep Wranglers, as most know, is that solid front axle where that vehicle likes to walk down the road. Meaning, you know, when you're driving down the road, you end up having the front end kind of just drive itself from left to right because of that solid front axle. Which, you know, it's nothing radical, but at the same time, it does kind of wear on you if you're the person doesn't like to be fighting the steering wheel half the time, which that's what you're doing to a degree, especially if you put big tires and wheels on them. And then the V6 motor, you know, it's respectable, but it just doesn't have that wow factor. And the new V8 392, which is in the Gold Rush Scat Pack Dodge Challenger I have, that's now available in the Wrangler. I mean, I haven't driven one, and I'm sure that is really badass. I mean, I'm sure it's a great, fun vehicle. And they're pricey as all get out right now. That's kind of the challenge. If you want one, you're going to pay a good chunk of money. Once you get that $70,000 range of spending money, you kind of start thinking, well, what else can I have in my life, if you know what I mean? So, you know, kind of going back to the Ford Bronco. So who's the main buyer right now, the Ford Bronco? My guess would be it's the SUV crowd. That's the Jeep guy, the 4Runner guy. You know, I would think that would be more of your clientele. And so far in the forum, the Bronco forum, 6G forum, that seems to be a lot of the people that I'm kind of reading into from the members. And, you know, for the ones that have bought them, they seem to be very happy with them. And sure, there's some gripes about the quality, which I've mentioned that in my other videos about how the interior just doesn't seem, you know, overwhelmingly like, wow, you know, it seems like, yeah, it's a Ford, if you know what I mean by that. So, but going back to the Jeep crowd, you know, does the Jeep guy that jumps the Bronco, you know, does he really feel like he got a real different type of vehicle? And what I mean by that is, does that Ford Bronco really radiate its own personality? And that's what I'm really curious about, because part of me says that it doesn't radiate a lot of that. I'm not saying that Ford Bronco isn't unique to itself, but just part of me says, does it really have that unique personality? There goes a Bronco, two-door right there. And versus the Jeep, I mean, there's no doubt you drive a Jeep, and it's like, yeah, I'm driving a Jeep. It's got a very unique personality. You're not going to find another vehicle. So that is what I'm really intrigued about on my purchase, my Bronco, is, and you've probably heard me mention earlier, and I'll mention it again. So that's kind of going to be the conversation when I get this vehicle. Is this really like, wow, this is really cool, it's really different, you know, it really fits the seat of my pants, or is it, you know, I wouldn't know if I was driving my Ford Ranger, you know, or the Ford Maverick, you know, even though that Maverick has its own personality. I've driven that. So, anyways, we're getting closer to the dealership and to go spend some money. Yikes. It's all about spending money. Yikes. Okay, the kids wound up. So get out of my way! Get out of my way! Come on! Do your thing!
Watch out!
This is what I deal with when my kid rides with me. I still don't know how she survived. You know, 17 years of riding in the back seat of all my cars. And, you know, and still, what is it? Yeah, I know. Yikes, right? Yikes. And everybody here is in the left-hand lane for some reason today in Leesburg. And I don't know where they're going, but we know where we're going, right? Okay, so let's talk about the Bronco and my daughter. You know, my daughter has really been like, I wouldn't get it. I don't like it. Uh-oh, she's gonna go silent. Look. And I said, after what's like this Bronco, you're gonna change your attitude.
I don't want it, but I'm excited we're getting it.
Okay, we'll see there. Yeah, right. Yeah, I ordered two. 2-door, thinking one for her, and a 4-door for me, right?
You changed the color I wanted.
And we can always wrap it, but, you know, too much money, too expensive. Maybe watch the video and be like, are you kidding me? You're going to buy your daughter a Bronco? Not really. Will I let her drive it? Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, she drives a lot of my cars. Am I giving those to her? No. I mean, does somebody reach out to me and honestly be very honest and just tell me that people have given you things? I mean, nobody's given me anything. I mean, and trust me, I know there's serious wealth out there where people receive things that are in families that have serious wealth. They never worked for anything. They get it. I mean, that isn't my life. And that's not the life that my daughter's going to have. I'm just going to give her things, you know. She wants to buy my truck down the road? Sure. Will I give her a little discount? Maybe. But, you know, it's not just here. It's yours. You know, it's mine. It's mine. Ain't yours yet until you pay me the money. So anyway, so the daughter, you know, she's been kind of the page where, hey, Dad, whip-de-doo-dah, whip-de-doo-dah. I just want to lift it to F-250, Dad. Let's buy an F-250 and lift it, Dad. Come on, Dad. Let's lift the F-350, right?
Yeah.
That's the conversation she wants to talk about.
Yes.
But we shall see if she kind of changes that attitude of, hey, Dad, can I drive the Bronco? Can I drive Bronco, Dad? We'll see. You're right. Man, my hat definitely had that goofy northern old man look with my glasses and my hat, don't I? Maybe. Walter Matthau. You remember that movie, Grumpy Old Men? Yeah, that was great. Jack Lemmon. I mean, come on. The good old movies, right? My daughter's laughing. I don't know what she's laughing at. She's laughing at me? Probably. Uh-huh. Yep. Yabba dabba dooba. Whatever. All right, my daughter's saying, chill out, Dad. Chill out. So my salesman's calling me right now going, hey, man, you better get down here because they got a ton of people already lining up to buy it. And I'm like, yeah. Would you just please tell them that the guy that ordered it in July of 2020? And, you know, what is that? You know, that's 18 months in my book. 18 grueling months, man. 18 months, good Lord. And what's interesting is I just started getting on the forum, like the Bronco forum, just recently because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be fixated on this thing for 18 months because to me that just makes it even more challenging and aggravating. So here we come up to Coons, Sterling Ford. That's taking care of me on getting my Bronco Wildtrak all ready to go. I think I see her over there in the parking lot. Somebody's already sitting in it. Who's that? Get the heck out of my truck. There he is, right there. It's Brad, man, right there.
Here's the color you ordered. That's the
There it is. Look at that, huh? Hey. Does that look pretty cool or what?
I like that.
I'm trying to put it right here for presentation for you.
Well, you are. Do it. Do it. You got to do it, man. All right. Here she is. 18 months. 18 months later, right? Look at this here. Oh, I like that. I didn't know they did that. Didn't know they did the white outline on the Bronco, you know? Wow. Now, for me, I think it'd be pretty cool to black out that, put a black wrap on the top. I think that would really set it off. Maybe do, you know, what about, well, they did the Wildtrak black there. That's pretty cool. Nice. Check out the back. Beefy. Beefy, man. Come on. 35s. 35 factory.
Are you allowed to drive it?
I hope so. There's the interior. Cool, like the sandstone. Look at the screen, too. I got the bigger screen. That's sweet.
I want to sit in it.
Daughter wants to sit in it. Go on, get in. I got the rubber mats, even though guys in forum are like, don't get them. Get the aftermarket. Nice. Like that.
You can take this off.
Yeah, you can pop the panels out. And I got the deadening sound ones there. All right, get up in it. Wow, nice little jump up into the truck, man. Wow, this thing seems so high. Probably a seat. Let's start her up. Okay, first time I'm sitting in my new Wildtrak. Where's my name, right? Wow. Okay, so heated seats. Where are those going to be?
You don't
On the
have
screen.
any?
No, right here. Here you go.
Good, good.
Kids already saying I don't have any. Yikes. Here's temperature.
No auto. Here you
Oh.
go. Right
Yeah, look at that. Cool. Nice. Quiet, that's for sure. So the deadening's all the way back. That's cool. All right, so the steering wheel, too close up. There it is. Bring that out a little bit. And that's so funny. I saw 399 miles. I'm like, what? No, 399 miles to empty. So kind of get my steering wheel here in my position and put this back. All your controls are down here. Oh, wow. I thought for a second I had the power pedals, but you don't. Auto. Here's your, I wonder if that is there. Must be your heated. Take my glasses off here. I'll have to read the manual, all this stuff, right? Duh. Here's my adaptive. Here's all your radio controls. Should be able to go to sources. We should be able to get to Sirius XM. Okay. Saying, please do not touch display during installation. Tools will be removed before usage. Wow. Well, yikes. What's that all about, right? So let's tune it. What's the channels here, right? Can't listen to it anyways. YouTube doesn't want that. Here's all your four-wheel drive features, which has a lot of information, right? There's your flashers. Let's make sure now, something that I'm hearing from these guys, the smartest thing I could do is drive this vehicle, make sure the four-wheel drive works, make sure your windshield wipers work, make sure your lights work. I mean, it sounds piddly, but I'm just having a lot of quality control issues right now, building this vehicle. With any luck, maybe I got one that had a little quality control on it. I'm scared to open up the engine compartment and see the serial number. Yikes, right? I should probably do that here in a second once I warm up. What do you think so far?
I like it.
Wow, it is nice. Very comfortable. So far the seats feel really good. Really cool. Everybody says this wireless charging station is useless. Big old console, not much you can put in there. The gripe I hear is not enough cup holders. So if you're the cup holder person, you don't have anything behind you. You have to go to the back seat. I like the conventional setup with the controls. That's really nice. I like the steering wheel. Steering wheel's not too small, not too big. That's nice. Like, I mean, the interior actually looks better than I thought. I mean, actually, this is kind of, it really had this cheesy feel for some reason. Other ones that like that, probably because it's mine now. I'm probably more like, yeah, since it's mine, it's much more quality, right? But it does feel good. Right now, let's get out and let's look at the engine. And let's see what the build date is on it. So with a red hot chili pepper. Wow. Now one complaint you hear people talk, and I don't disagree. Boy, talk about a lot of going on, man. I think a lot of people make a good point. It'd be nice to have a nice cover, kind of hide all this. That would have been a better design, kind of give a little more character. Because that is, it does just like, you know, overwhelm. Hey, want to work on this car? Not really. There's way too much information in here. Turbos, twin turbos that is. What's the build date? This is supposed to be built on the 13th. I wonder if it is. No, it says, well, it just gives a general month, January 22. You know what I mean? I'm liking it. You know, I didn't get the rock rails. I figured I'd get aftermarket. I already see a lot of guys selling those. I really like the tires. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going up in size. These are expensive tires, man. So I'm going to keep it factory in that aspect. Let's open her up. That has some good quality feel to it there. Cool. I guess these are my covers. Oh, the door. These are the doors. There's the roof. Wow. That's nice. Pretty big back area. I hear some people kind of complain about the back area, but that's pretty big. Pretty substantial. So nice. And you got something right here too, right? You got a nice little area here. Not bad. Hard to believe that jack will lift this thing up. Being as big and tall as it sits up in the air. Nice. The trailer hitch, really want that. You know, you can't get that in the two-door, I don't think. I didn't know that. Which I kind of, well, you can. You can get that, actually. See it right over there. That's good to know. That sounds really good. Need to get mud flaps. That's the first thing on my agenda. Very cool. Bead locks, which my understanding, those things aren't functional. The bead lock look, but I don't know if they're actually functional to be able to lower your tires down that much. Anything leaking? Skid plates, tow hooks. Cool. Well, I guess now the next thing is to go give these guys some money, right? Isn't that the idea? Yikes. This thing was not inexpensive. And since it went to 2022, you know, you pay a little bit more because of price increases. But I'm good with that. I really like the color. I'm really glad I changed from that cactus gray to this hot red chili pepper. All right, let me go sign some paperwork and get on the road and start talking about it more. All right, just signed all the paperwork and she is mine. Time to get in this badass Bronco and drive her home, right? Wow, man, I love that screen. Thing's huge. Woo, brr, 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 brr. Cold, man, heated seat, no passenger. My daughter's driving my 4Runner. So, yikes. How do we get all this configuration, right? Jeez. Yeah, calm screen, fuel economy, 8.6 miles. They definitely drove her. Said 6 miles as far as shipping, but I guess they did a PDI and checked it all out, which is right here. You can take that off, wherever the hell that is. All right, let's get her warmed up a little bit. Get my radio, get my film peeled off right here. All right, already got 4 members asking me questions. Here's your dual, you know, you have separate controls. So it's not the digital on the screen, it's actually manual, which I like that. I mentioned that earlier. Got my Bronco hat, took off the screen here. So I don't touch the screen. Now I need my Sirius XM radio. See what I can listen to here. Wow, all right, see how the music sounds, right? No music, yikes. Uh-oh, right? So it's saying no satellite, attempting to connect. Here's my parking brake. All right, here we go. Where's my daughter? There she is. Here she comes. Here comes a new noise. So, all right. Remember I was telling you better check everything before you drive it. All right. So let's see how this bad boy feels. Right, man. You know, already, this thing just has a big footprint. This thing has a bigger footprint than I kind of remember. And why is that? You know, now that I'm driving this, it just seems like it sits up higher. And I guess it's because I'm driving the Wildtrak and I haven't driven a Wildtrak. All right. Very cool. Here's my left mirror control, I guess. Let me hit that button there. Get that set up for me. There you go. All right, so kind of going off the road, and you know, with all the engine failures, the first thing I want to do for sure is break her in right? Because as she goes, kaboom! Yikes! Hey, let's be positive here, right? Let's be positive. But hey, this motor definitely nice and strong. Loving the heated seats on this freezing butt day. All right, so it's really nice. The seat recline is electric. You know, and you drive a Mustang, you drive a Ford Ranger, that reclined seat isn't the case. You gotta manually, you know, recline it versus has automatic, which I like that a lot. So really good that they did that on the seat design. You're hearing a lot of noise because of the, I get this thing blasted on the heat. I'm guessing, right? Yeah, there we go. So, being a first time driving down the road, didn't even test drive it. Some people probably be like, whoa. I mean, didn't even test drive the vehicle? So, you mean you have that much confidence in buying this thing? Right, well, I do. And my God, if it's that bad, I'll just turn around and take it back and cancel the deal. I can guarantee they'd be happy. General manager would be really happy, because I can promise you they'd get 20, 25 grand ADM on this thing in this area that I live in. So now the question is, hearing noise, and I'll turn down the heat a little bit. So no, that's just more or less the wind. You get the wind noise out of this window. So is that a negative, right? Like, wait a second, you get wind noise? Get some wind noise here. Brakes feel really good so far. Nice. And yeah, the power on this V6 motor, I think the power is really strong, really good. Because I have the Ford Ranger 2.3 motors. I have 2 Ranger trucks. So I know that motor, I know how it performs. So yeah, the V6, it's night and day on the power. It's the torque. It's you know, it's basically when you come off the line, you can just feel the how it has much more torque, which it does. It just seems to be smoother, doesn't struggle to kind of get going. Even though 2.3 doesn't really per se struggle, it's just more or less, it's just easy. You know, it's just got more power. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, so you definitely get some good wind noise, but you got a surface, you got a lot, you know, you got a big box going down the road here, so should I be that surprised on that? Right? Definitely feel these big beefy tires. Have to see where those settings are. You know what I mean? See my tires. So right now we're at 42. I'm pretty sure it's a 39 PSI in a cold day like today. So tires, I think, are overinflated by a few pounds. That'd be my guess. Now I lucked out because this morning it was basically snowing, raining. The roads were all covered, and I really did luck out getting this afternoon, because the roads now are dry and respectable. I mean, I don't have to go out and clean my vehicle when I get home. Famous last words is, I drive through all the puddles up the road here, right? You know, one thing for sure, this feels like a nice, beefy, four-wheel drive vehicle. So I will say, for the first time driving the Bronco with this Wildtrak package, it definitely has that, you know, off-road, four-wheel drive, you know, beefy, you know, brawny feel, which that's what I like. I'm really glad that that's what's radiating through the vehicle so far, because for sure it's got that Bigfoot presence and feel to it. So right now, I'm definitely feeling like this has a uniqueness to it, which I'm really happy and glad about that. And you can just see and hear a lot of, you know, talk on the windshield, picking up a lot of debris and chips and cracks. So see there? So now that was the heat. Now keep in mind, I've got severe hearing loss. So unfortunately for me, I don't hear as well as other people do. But that was definitely the heater. So you can actually tell that's really impressive. That was just more about the vehicle warming itself up. So not bad at all now. Sweet. Home link up there. All your switches. There's just so much technology in these things. It's crazy. It's a computer. As you roll down the road, that's for damn sure. I really like the color interior. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm really excited that I changed the color. And Matt, back at Keene Sterling Ford, one of the general manager sales guys, he's the one that got me to change the color of this vehicle and kind of set it up the way it is. And he really did a great job. Even though he actually ended up getting the cactus gray package. So Wildtrak, wow. So probably should turn on my adaptive just to see if it works. And let's see where you get this here. Lane keeping on. But how do you get this? Oh, there it is. That button there changes how far away you are from the vehicle in front of you. So that's nice. And I can feel how it's buffering itself. But yeah, so far interior noise, very good. Look at that plastic over there. We're going to have to take the plastic off. All the fine details, right? Wow. So far, I'm very, very excited. Now, what about when it steers out of the lane? Does it do that? So the steering wheel doesn't do that, but I don't know what the setting is. You can usually adjust those settings, so how much resistance you want for stay in your lane. So, pretty cool, man. My seat's burning me up. I mean, these seats, wow. I'm warm. Whole truck is really warm. Wow, Skirb, I am really impressed. I am really impressed. I mean, I am eating my words. I just didn't realize how much this truck really does have its own unique personality, and it really does. I mean, this really does drive a lot differently than I thought. And I'm just really impressed. Wowsker, I just keep on saying Wowsker, right? I know you watch, he's like, come on, man, come on. But hey, the Bronco, I'm eating my own words. I'm telling you right now, I did not think that this vehicle would give me the wow factor that I'm experiencing. And I'm just telling you, this Wildtrak package, the way I ordered this vehicle, I mean, I'm just really, really liking this Bronco. This is so much nicer than I thought it was going to be. And it really does have that, you know, utility, off-road, utilitarian, you know, whatever you want to say. It really has that feel of being borderline like a truck. You know, just a really cool ride. I mean, and as you know, if you drive a crossover vehicle and a lot of these newer SUVs, I mean, they're very mundane. They're just very car-like. And no way, this Bronco definitely gives you that, the good old, four-wheel drive, riding down the road, just a really nice, adventure vehicle. I just can't emphasize enough that you will not be disappointed if you get a Bronco. And I really was borderline thinking I'd be making a video of where people be mad at me, where I'd be like, this thing just is kind of not as exciting as I thought it'd be. I mean, I in my videos, if you watch my videos, I really do tell you what I think. I don't just say things just to say things. I'm not a journalist for the automotive industry. I don't make a living off of my YouTube channel. There's nothing in it to me to gain to sit here and just start lying about a product. I mean, what does it do? I mean, if this product was not that exciting, I would right now be telling you, hey man, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm more excited in my 4Runner, but no way. No way. This definitely is a really fun to drive, unique vehicle, and even to the point the Jeeps. I'm sorry, I've owned a ton of nice Jeeps, and I know there's the diehard Jeep guys. I get it. That's fine. That's what fits the seat of your pants. But this, in comparison to Jeep, no way, man. I don't really think you're being fair to compare them, because this vehicle is just an overall design, better fun factor, feel of confidence. Just the driving confidence is huge. You have no idea, back when I bought my first four-wheel drive Jeep back in 2013, it took me a month. It took me a month to come to closure to buy my first lifted. The dealership had lifted it, put bigger tires and wheels, and I drove around in it, and I drove the back roads, and I'm not embellishing here, it took me a month to come to closure to buy that vehicle, because I truly felt that vehicle was a rollover vehicle. I felt like, wow, if I ever got this vehicle just a little off the road, I'm gonna roll this damn thing. I just didn't have, the confidence. I even questioned the salesman, general manager. I was just like, man, I don't know. The Jeep just doesn't feel stable to me. Now I know they got the latest JL version, I had the JK version, and yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not here bashing the Jeep, but the Ford Bronco gives you this fun factor feeling with great confidence. And I feel like I'm jacked up in the air, the way the vehicle's sitting right now, the big tires, the Wildtrak suspension, and I have no desire to go 37s. These 35s are perfect. I just can't emphasize enough to anybody waiting on the Broncos, it's well worth the wait. And I waited 18 months. So it's really exciting, and just, even more exciting is to start to personalize it, put a winch on it, just do, light bar, do my mud flaps, do side steps, or, whatever it may be. The list is infinite what you can do with these vehicles. Wow. For everybody out there that's the Bronco order and the Bronco owners, I'm sure for the Bronco owners, they're going to be like, yeah, man, I get it. I have one. For those that don't have it yet, I can only hope this video helps you to be like, man, it's worth the wait. And that's what I'm trying to radiate to you, is it is worth the wait, and you won't be disappointed. This is just awesome. It's interesting. I just got to think to myself, this is kind of like my H2s. I had a bunch of custom Hummers back in 2004, 5, 6. I had all the custom Hummers. 22 supercharged. Those things were $80,000, $100,000 vehicles that I had done up, and I just had this kind of flashback, like, wow, this kind of gives you the H2 days when I was riding around on those. And not the H3. I drove the H3, and yeah, they were okay, but no way. This is nothing. I'm not going to even remotely, compare this to an H3, if you know what I mean by that. So, once again, wow. I'm just really excited. And if you're not getting that through the video, then wow. Yeah, so for all you Ford Bronco guys, awesome, man. And for the forum, the Bronco, forum, 6G forum. I mean, great members in there. And I just really started interacting in that forum here recently. And it's a great group of people. And wow. So as the adventure begins, right? Now here's what's really interesting. Now I'm kind of on the back roads here. Man, you can really feel how big these tires are in this vehicle. You can really sense the footprint on it. And I mean, if you're the person that grew up in the 80s, even 70s, you know, this is a vehicle that you're definitely going to totally connect with, because it's the true heritage of the four-wheel drive vehicle. I mean, this just reminds me so much of when I was growing up and riding around in the four-wheel drive vehicles. I mean, oh my gosh. But I mean, keep in mind, it's refined, but at the same time, this thing is just so, you know, it's definitely the four-wheel drive adventure vehicle, which I'm really impressed. I really am just I'm overwhelmed that this does give you that truck four-wheel drive feel. I was so concerned that this was going to give you that crossover vehicle SUV feel, which it's just mundane. So, wow. All right, I'm coming home here, and I'll do more talking about my brand new. And it's funny, I was calling this red hot chili pepper. That's what I've been calling it when it's hot, hot pepper red. That's how you call this paint. But for me, I was calling it red hot chili pepper. I think it's all the same at the end of the day, if you know what I mean. Hey, I got a few red vehicles now, don't I? Wow. Wow, look at that. Isn't that cool? That 360 surround, man. Technology. Crazy, isn't it? Wow. Awesome. Is it just a rolling computer?